Russia has been constantly, going into the airspace of NATO. And a lot of people have been speculating on a lot of reasons. And there could be many reasons. But I think there's one particular reason why I think they're doing that. And it is this. We all know about the war that is currently ongoing with Ukraine and Russia, or the special military operation as Russia called it. Now, of course, we also know that they expected it to be over, but Ukrainians are putting up a larger fight than they had expected. Of course, with the help of Western allies. Russia knows they cannot win a war against NATO. It's just impossible. As soon as NATO increased their involvement, America seems to be a little bit of a wave, up 1 minute, down 1 minute, up 1 minute, down 1 minute. But the European countries pretty much understand that it's also about their own security as well, especially like Poland and some of the Baltic states. They understand that. But I think what Russia and Putin is really doing, and their military strategists are really trying to do, is not necessarily just to test the response of NATO, because of course that's going to come. They want the NATO countries to think that they're being provoked into an actual war. So they'll boost their military without actually sending those supplies to Ukraine to Ukraine to fight. Because of course they're not replenished as easy as possible, because you can't get up tomorrow morning and build new weapons like that. I mean, Germany has started to increase production. I know Canada is also doing that as well, and some other European countries. But for the most part of it, Russia wants NATO countries to start shoring up their own defenses. And that will now take away from what they would be sending over into Ukraine for Ukraine to defend themselves. That, I believe, is the number one reason. Of course, there are other reasons, but to me, that's the number one reason why Russia is invading Ukraine, or not rather Ukraine, but NATO airspace with all these, Poland was one, and all these other countries, because they want these countries to kind of step back a little bit from their involvement and their support into Ukraine and start focusing on their own strategic defense, especially if they don't believe that the American military might, the number one power in the world, will actually come to their aid militarily with boots on the ground if Article 5 is triggered. So that's where my thoughts are. Of course, in the comments, you can tell me if you believe that that's the truth. Again, this is just my opinion, and it's not an absolute opinion, but I think from all the ones that are floating out there right now, that's the one that I'm looking at most. Russia cannot win a war against NATO, even without the American involvement. They know that, right? Their border is just too long. They can't defend all of that, because they'll be attacked from so many sides. Their air and their shipping is completely, not really completely, but it's been degraded substantially because of the war with Ukraine. They're just trying to stop these countries or slow it down so that they can then get a new bargaining power, because Russia looks at the war differently. The human cost and the military equipment cost, they view them the same. NATO and Western allies look at them separately. So therefore, no other country would have sustained that amount of casualties in a war without coming to some form of conclusion. This is not World War I or World War II. Everything has changed. So they're more now moving into asymmetrical warfare to better support their position. That's how I view it anyway. So let me know in the comments if you think that I get it all wrong. Of course, you know, I'm not an expert in this topic. It's just my views after watching and observing all that's been happening.